Today, I'm going to show you how Singapore uses science to stay cool. Cities are seriously responsible for global climate change. Cities around the world have become a major headache for a sustainable world. Here, we will learn about the challenges of Singapore, a city struggling with warming. We will also learn how this city uses science to solve problems. If you look at a thermal map of a city and compare it with a map of the part decorated with plants, you can see that the temperature is lower where the green is. The thermal conductivity and conductivity of individual substances vary. Asphalt, concrete, and even wooden canopy roofs receive more heat from the sun than plants. It is called the city's heat island effect. When the temperature of any area differs more than the temperature of its surrounding area, the temperature map makes it look like an isolated island. This heat island effect is responsible for the high temperatures in most cities. City roads, buildings, and other infrastructures absorb radiation more than natural environmental elements. It releases heat back into the environment. As a result, the temperature in that city remains a few degrees higher than the surrounding area. As a result of the growing population of cities in the modern world, the effects of global warming on climate change are increasingly becoming a serious threat to human health. A heat stroke is an event that causes more deaths than any extreme weather event, such as tornadoes, hurricanes, or even floods. Problems create the need. So a team of researchers is working on urban thermal island migration strategies to overcome this thermal problem in Singapore. Singapore has achieved a lot in the past through good planning. If this scientific path continues, contrary to the conventional notions of the city, which is mixed, we can expect Singapore to become a livable city in the future. Singapore's government supports a project known as Cooling Singapore. The project is now pooling the required knowledge into a digital tool that can help many other cities. In the topics of Singapore, there is an environment of science and research. Singapore is proactive in solving problems, so the beginning is with Singapore. Due to its geographical location close to the equator, the temperature in Singapore regularly rises above 32 degrees Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. With this geographical factor, the structure of this city makes it even more miserable. And if you look at Singapore, you can see that it is a jungle of divine concrete. More urbanized, much more infrastructurally dense. Even in Singapore, the difference in temperature between the most urbanized and rural areas can be as high as 7 degrees Celsius at the same time. The country's government has taken drastic measures to bring down the temperature steadily. Gardens by the Bay, an award-winning park, was created on a 250-acre bay in Singapore. Inside the park are designed tree-like structures that have greened over and again. Among them is a greenhouse called Flower Dome, which has the shape of an oyster or dome. The inside temperature is a pleasant 24 degrees Celsius. People come to enjoy the time by buying tickets regularly to get the peace of the green. It is called a district cooling system, in which the cold water or any other liquid is conveyed to the network of many buildings through underground pipes from a specific place in central management. Centrally, a plant cools the water, then pipes to banks, residential towers, exhibition centers, shopping malls, and the city's iconic Marina Bay Sands Hotel and casino complex. The advantage of using the district cooling system is that it saves 40% more electricity than conventional air conditioners. Since Singapore relies on natural gas as its source of energy production, saving electricity in this way is equivalent to removing 10,000 vehicles from city roads. For the rest of the world, this incident arouses fear. If all conditions are as they are now, by 2050, 1/3 of the total energy produced will have to be used only for cooling buildings and vehicles. As the world heats up, global warming increases, so the need for more air conditioners and refrigerators will increase accordingly. And the more people buy such household goods, the more energy they use. And the increasing number of devices will leave the overall environment warmer. As a result, climate change will create increasingly worrisome situations. It is a vicious cycle. So, since 2017, researchers at the Cooling Singapore project have been developing various designs to reduce the need for cooling air first. Many cities have one thing in common: the importance of plants. While shading is a very effective way to reduce the heat of urbanization, greening also has a profoundly positive psychological effect on public life. Since evaporation of plants has the inherent feature of cooling, plants can play a sustainable role in reducing the temperature of large shrubs on the surface. And there will be human movement under the trees. The structure of human movement through the vegetation above and below it is like a green canopy. Fortunately, Singapore continuously strives to be a garden city. Lee Kuan Yew, the first dreamer of this idea in 1967, was the then Prime Minister. He first introduced this foresight to make people's lives more joyful and peaceful. And today, Singapore is one of the greenest cities in the world in terms of urban greening. There is a community center named Kampong that has health facilities and social space. Surprisingly, it now offers more green space than ever before, compared to the time of its building with this same amount of land.